including Woo! Wow, I'm me, and you're you, and welcome to Chewy Mew's channel. Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! Wow, I'm Chewy Mew. Welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew video, where today we're going to be taking a look at another custom that I made recently. In one of the past videos, we took a look at my custom figure here, including Today we're not going to be looking at that guy. Instead, we're going to be looking at my custom Spider-Man 2099 using the Hasbro Spider-Man Origins 2099 body. And spoilers, you can tell the colors on these guys are completely different, just with different legs and obviously different paint and a cape that doesn't look dumb. The reason I customized this is because I recently got the Across the Spider-Verse 2099 Spider-Man, which it's that more sort of futuristic looking armor kind of design. And that figure is this guy right here, and they're very conveniently the same size. So yeah, I figured I might as well just customize this one to be sort of his more classic appearance, so I can have sort of the classic look, and then have the more like armored futuristic design, which I know he doesn't look like this in the comics, or in pretty much any other form of content except the Across the Spider-Verse movie, which I kind of like that they changed the design to look, you know, much more futuristic, much more crazy looking with all this sort of texture and design, which I've also painted on some design to give him a sort of matte, or not matte, more metallic looking look to him. Metallic looking look, yeah. So yeah, that way I can have, like, basically the three different versions, because I'm also making a 2099, the white suit custom. The biggest change for this is the additional legs, or the new legs that he has. These are actually the shoulder joints from the Humberto Ramos Spider-Man, which I think is called the Flip and Zip. And then these are the original thighs of Spider-Man 2099 here. They don't have ball joint legs, which is why I swapped them, because they only have this kicking or like rotation here in the leg, whereas these ones now, move the arms up, they can kick incredibly high up. You can do the splits with both legs. You can go past the splits, because these are also not optimized for this pelvis joint, so they can kick up ridiculously high and go back a little bit. The other thing is just basically paint and a cape. So yeah, and this is the color of the original figure. You can see the drastic difference. Fun fact, he got his power around the same time of Dia de los Muertos, which is a Hispanic holiday, which is Day of the Dead, where they don't wear costumes for that, because a lot of like people in the U.S., probably worldwide, think that Dia de los Muertos is just a Hispanic version of Halloween, which it's not. It's actually kind of more like honoring your dead loved ones, as in, like, for example, like your grandfather died, and you get his food that he likes, and it's kind of like a memorial kind of thing. But then most people around the world probably don't know that's what it is. And so I guess the Marvel Comics writers didn't know either, because they decided to give him a costume. And they call this a Dia de los Muertos costume, which they don't wear costumes for that. It's a more somber kind of holiday. They do have the calaveras, which is like these skull-looking things, but it's like a memorial kind of holiday. Not like a horror holiday, it just happens around Halloween time. Him wearing this costume has nothing to do with that holiday. It doesn't even look like a skull, barely looks like a spider. Dia de los Muertos inspired, it is not. So, as far as it goes, I basically just took his original body and just painted all the stuff blue, which, believe it or not, this was actually really hard to do. I had to do several coats, and then I had to put the, not primer, I keep forgetting the name of that, the Mod Podge, which is sealer. It basically allows you to, like, scratch the figure and the paint doesn't come off. Because the way I had to do it, I have to get so many coats. It has this sort of texture now here on the legs, which some parts it looks bumpy because there's bubbles on it, which is kind of dumb. You can see here some parts chip off anyway. I think a lot of parts it does look clean, and of course the Scourge of Humanity is, this looks pink. I really don't know what in the world is going on here, because in real life it is a little darker red. Like, this part is pretty dark, and this part is also red, but in the camera, this looks normal color. This is pink. So I don't know what, I don't know, dude. I don't know. These legs come off, which they don't fall off like if you mess around with it. Like, you can like pose it around, kick it all around and stuff. But if you try to take them off, you can't take them off. So yeah, like I said, these are the shoulders of Humberto Ramos Spider-Man, and these are actually his thighs, because I made a custom of this figure. And then I ended up getting this figure, so I didn't really need the custom. And then so I used the custom for fodder and other parts and stuff like that. Like, the head sculpt is used like an interchangeable head with my Fearsome Foe Spider-Man, so I can have like alternate heads. The hands too, other joints have been used for other figures as well, like the arms and stuff. So I decided, which it's kind of weird, because I gave the ball joint legs to some figure that I don't remember which one it was, and then I had the thighs left, so I just put his shoulders and his thighs together, which it works really good. Like, you can't really tell that these, like, they look like they fit perfectly, because he also had big shoulders, and his thighs are kind of big as well. I feel like it works kind of good. The legs are a little loose. But if you kick them up in a pose, they hold it, just like when they're here, they're kind of loose. Glue dots didn't really work because the way the pelvis is just structured, these are not meant to be compatible at all. Because you can see these leg shapes are very, very thick here and a lot thicker and a lot bigger as well. Whereas the legs on the figure are a lot thinner and stuff. So they're not compatible, and also these are supposed to rub against each other to give each other more more friction. Whereas these legs, they don't meet. Like right in the pelvis, there's not any plastic here in the pelvis. So the legs are together and they're just kind of floating in there. So glue dots and even the paint dry method didn't work the best, but I mean, the legs don't fall off and they're not wiggly, so that's good. Also, I added spikes here to the arms, which these are appropriate looking red. I don't know why everything looks pink in this stupid... It's not even this phone, it's the other phone. On this phone, everything looks pink too. Like my custom Spider-Man 3 movie figure, also his Spider-Back logo looked pink. So I added these spikes here. It's not quite how his look. They're kind of more here like on the back, kind of like this Batman spikes he has on his gloves. Because this is just a repaint of a Toy Biz body. So Hasbro's kind of lazy to bother sculpting stuff and, you know, painting stuff in the right spot. And admittedly, I was a bit lazy too, but also having the spikes here, you can actually see them more. As far as other stuff goes, like there's the head sculpt. I think I painted it pretty clean. I actually used a Sharpie paint marker to paint the design on this, because using regular paint, it covered it too much. And I want to be able to paint just right in the lines to get it to look good. Some parts it doesn't look as clean and stuff. Another thing as well, which is, in my opinion, one of the coolest things I did, was this cape. And the original cape was maybe about this size, probably a little bit bigger. It's been so long since I actually had the cape on this. I did get this figure brand new in like 2006. It's been so long since I had the cape. This cape is actually made out of a, not Kleenex, what's that called? The disinfectant wipes. And so using a disinfectant wipe, I basically just let it dry. And then it has this sort of fabric-y, slight fabric texture to it. Not quite the same kind of fabric as like a shirt. And not really, I mean, it's not papery either. It's kind of like hybrid paper fabric. I don't really know how to explain that. So I took it here, then I kind of tried painting on the sort of web design pattern onto the web here, or onto the cape. And on the inside, it looks a bit better than on the back. And I super glued it to the elbows, which the original just had a rope, not even like an elastic piece of, like an elastic string or whatever. It was just a rope that you wrap around the arms. And so sometimes when you move it, it would just slide around, which is the same problem that the first appearance Toy Biz Spider-Man had. You just loosely hook it around the neck and the waist. So sometimes if you're playing with it or posing it, it just comes off, which is annoying. And so I just super glued it here to his back, to his kind of like above like the tailbone-ish kind of area, and then the elbows. And it does block the elbow joints a little bit, where you can still move it up all the way like this, and you can still rotate them all the way around and doesn't block it. Sometimes I do have to kind of adjust the cape. I was thinking of going full-blown crazy mode and putting bendy wire on this somehow. I like how people specify bendy wire, because isn't pretty much all wire bendable? Like, it's not like there's like wire that you can't bend. I mean, the whole point of wire, or maybe they don't mean, like, because there's electrical wire, which you can't really bend. Let me know think about this custom, and I really promise, this is red. This is red. I might go back and try painting it more red, I guess. Figure here, using some techniques that I've never used before, including fabric. But either way, that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Wow.